Welcome, guys. Today we're taking a satirical journey to Uganda and beyond with the controversial, hilarious, and undeniably popular musical, The Book of Mormon. From its creators comes a show that tackles religion, culture, and the human experience with a healthy dose of irreverence. The Book of Mormon is a musical comedy with music, lyrics, and book by Avenue Q creator Robert Lopez and South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. The story follows two missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as they attempt to preach the faith to the inhabitants of a remote Ugandan village. Now, both missionaries are challenged by the lack of interest from the locals who are distracted by more pressing issues such as AIDS, famine, female genital mutilation, child molestation, and oppression by the local warlord. Now, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, informally known as the LDS Church or Mormon Church, is the largest Latter-day Saints denomination. Founded during the Second Great Awakening, essentially a Protestant religious revival during the late 18th century, the church is headquartered in Salt Lake City, Utah, and has established congregations and built temples worldwide. Now, fun fact here, according to the church, as of 2023, it has over 17.2 million members, of which over 6.8 million live right here at home in the US. Now, the church identifies as Christian and includes a belief in the doctrine of salvation through Jesus Christ and his substitutionary atonement on behalf of mankind. It is often included in the lists of larger Christian denominations, though some Catholics, mainline Protestants, and evangelicals have considered the LDS Church to be distinct and separate from mainstream Christianity. Other than the Bible, the majority of the church canon consists of material believed by the church's members to have been revealed by God to Mormon founder Joseph Smith, including text described as lost parts of the Bible, and other works believed to have been written by ancient prophets, including the Book of Mormon. It's important to note, though, that members here adhere to church laws of sexual purity, health, fasting, and Sabbath observance, and contribute 10% of their earned income to the church. Now, members of the church known as Latter-day Saints, or informally as Mormons, believe that the church president is a modern-day prophet, seer, and revelator, and that Jesus Christ, under the direction of God the Father, leads the church by revealing his will and delegating his priesthood keys to its president. At the local and regional levels, the church has a volunteer clergy, and wards are led by bishops. Male members may be ordained to the priesthood, provided they are living the standards of the church. However, women are not ordained to the priesthood, but occupy leadership roles in some church organizations. In all, the church maintains a large missionary program that proselytizes and conducts humanitarian services worldwide, where both men and women may serve as missionaries. Now, shifting focus back onto the production, Trey Parker and Matt Stone grew up in Colorado and were familiar with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its members. They became friends at the University of Colorado in Boulder and collaborated on a musical film, 1993's Cannibal the Musical, their first experience with movie musicals. In 1997, they created the animated television series South Park for Comedy Central, and in 1999, the musical film South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Now, the two had first thought of a fictionalized Joseph Smith, religious leader and founder of the Latter-day Saints movement, while working on an aborted Fox series about historical characters. Their 1997 film Orgasmo and a 2003 episode of South Park All About Mormons both gave comic treatment to Mormonism. During the summer of 2003, Parker and Stone flew to New York City to discuss their script of their new film, Team America World Police, with friend and producer Scott Rudin. Rudin advised the duo to see the musical Avenue Q on Broadway, to not only find inspiration, but to find the cast of marionettes in Team America similar to the puppets of Avenue Q. Well, Parker and Stone went to see the production during that summer, and the writer-composers of Avenue Q, both Robert Lopez and Jeff Marks, noticed them in the audience and introduced themselves. The quartet went for drinks afterwards and soon found that each duo wanted to write something involving Joseph Smith. The four began working out details nearly immediately, with the idea to create a modern story formulated early on. Now, for research purposes, the quartet took a road trip to Salt Lake City where they interviewed a bunch of missionaries or ex missionaries. Well, in 2006, Parker and Stone flew to London, where they spent 3 weeks with Lopez, who was working on the West End production of Avenue Q. It was here that the three wrote 4 or 5 songs and came up with the basic idea of the story. Now, Jeff Marks not soon after separated from the project after he felt he was not getting enough creative control, leading the remaining trio to meet frequently to develop what they initially called the Book of Mormon, the musical of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Developmental workshops were then created, where the crew embarked on the first of a half-dozen that would take place during the next 4 years, ranging from 30-minute mini performances for family and friends to much larger scale renderings of the show. In February of 2008, a fully staged reading starred actor and stand-up comedian Benjamin Walker and the original voice of Olaf in Disney's animated film Frozen, Josh Gad. A final 5-week workshop took place in August of 2010 when Casey Nicola, responsible for bringing such musicals as The Drowsy Chaperone and Aladdin to Broadway, came on board as choreographer and co-director with Parker. It was here that the team would ready the show for its Mormons on Broadway debut. Now, fun fact, before its initial premiere on Broadway, the producers expected the production to cost $11 million, but it actually came in under budget at $9 million. Hundreds of actors auditioned and 28 were cast. The crew did 4 weeks of rehearsals with an additional 2 weeks of technical rehearsals, and then went directly into previews. Now, since it was a rush to premiere the musical before the Tonys, Parker and Stone actually first watched the finished production 6 days before the first paying audience. With likes and nods from both, the Mormons were ready to tell their story. Well, in March of 2011, the story of the All-American Prophet was opened to Broadway audiences at the Eugene O'Neill Theater, where it still continues today, gearing up to actually celebrate its 14th anniversary. The original cast starred two-time Tony nominee Andrew Rannells, two-time Annie Award winner and original voice of Olaf in Disney's animated film Frozen, Mr. Josh Gad, Tony-winning actress Nikki M. James, Tony-nominated actor and co-founder of the gay rights activist group Broadway Impact, Mr. Rory O'Malley, stage, film, and television actor Michael Protz, primetime Emmy nominee who rose to prominence for his role as rapper Alfred Paperboy Miles in the FX comedy drama series Atlanta, Brian Tyree Henry. Now, the production would later receive 13 Tony nominations, winning 9, including Best Musical. The New York production of the Book of Mormon employed an innovative pricing strategy, similar to the ones used in the airline and hotel industries. Basically, the producers charged as much as $477 for the best seats for performances with particularly high demand. During its first year, the show was consistently one of the top 5 best-selling shows on Broadway, setting 22 new weekly sales records for the Eugene O'Neill Theater. With both high attendance coupled with aggressive pricing allowed the financial backers to recoup their initial investment of $11.4 million after just 9 months of performances. Now, the Book of Mormon received broad critical praise for the plot, score, actors' performances, direction, and choreography. The New York Post reported that the audience members were sore from laughing so hard. It praised the score, calling it tuneful and very funny, and added that the show has heart. It makes fun of organized religion, but the two Mormons themselves are real people, not caricatures. Well, Ben Brantley of the New York Times compared the show favorably to Rodgers and Hammerstein's The King and I and The Sound of Music. But rather than dealing with tyrannical, charismatic men with way too many children, Our heroes must confront a one-eyed genocidal warlord with an unprintable name. Well, that's enough to test the faith of even the most optimistic gospel spreaders, not to mention songwriters. Yet, in setting these dark elements to sunny melodies, the Book of Mormon achieves something like a miracle. It both makes fun of and ardently embraces the all-American art form of the inspirational book musical. No Broadway show has so successfully had it both ways since Mel Brooks adapted his film The Producers for the stage a decade ago. Well, by March of 2013, the West End was ready to tell its version of Joseph Smith, the American Moses, when the Book of Mormon would open its doors at the Prince of Wales Theatre, where it still plays today, with tickets often in high demand. The West End cast starred former Tony-winning actor and singer-songwriter Gavin Creel, musical theater actor Jared Gertner, British actress and mezzo-soprano Alexia Hadim, Olivier Award-winning Scottish actor Stephen Ashfield, British actor, musician, and filmmaker Giles Terrera, and British stage and television actor Chris Jarman. By January of 2017, Australia was ready to welcome audiences to Melbourne's Princess Theatre for a night of laughter amidst baptisms and spooky Mormon hell dreams. The Australian cast starred musical theater singer and composer A.J. Holmes, Australian stage, film, and television actor Rowan Witt, and 20-year career Australian stage, film, and television actor Bert Labonte. By February of 2018, this same cast then opened the Sydney season at the Sydney Lyric Theatre, before embarking on an Australian tour with stops in Brisbane, Adelaide, and Perth. Well, since opening in 2011, over 20 million people have seen the production around the world. As of November 2024, having played more than 5,000 performances, as well as becoming the 11th longest-running Broadway show, the Book of Mormon has grossed over $800 million, making it one of the most successful musicals of all time. Folks, the Book of Mormon is a show that sparks conversation, provokes thought, and for many provides a night of uproarious entertainment. Love it, hate it, or find yourself somewhere in between, it's undeniable that this musical has left a lasting mark on contemporary theater. Until next time, keep questioning, keep laughing, and keep exploring the power of storytelling. Remember the lessons learned. Remember the power of connection, the importance of empathy, and the enduring message that even in the most unexpected places, hey, tomorrow is a latter day. Welcome each brand new day with a single phrase, Hasadiga Ibawai, and greeting everyone you meet with a simple